Okay.
And you launched your poll already?
Yep. All right, we're recording. We're live.
All right. I'm going to say best day ever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So while you are taking your poll, if you're taking the poll, which is helpful, and actually something we're going to throw out there, that's a Zoom feature right now. And that is something you can use for now to take attendance in your class. You can start off with a poll and you can do that on the fly. Mike, can you set, I'm going to let Mike talk about that a little bit more later on, but that's a good way to take attendance from a session. All right, I'm going to close out of the chat and talk to you about some improvements for Google Meet. Now, we did purchase Zoom Pro accounts for everybody from what grade, Mike?
I believe 2 through 12, but I'm not sure specific.
Okay, 2 through 12 for teachers. So that would allow you to have some of the features that Mike's going to talk about, like, and that's what we personally have always liked. It has more functions than a regular Google Meet typically does, and we liked some of the moderation features. However, having said that, and having put in the PO and already started that purchase, Google Meet has a lot of new features that they're starting to roll out. So that's what I'm going to start with and talk to you a little bit about some of those new features. They have it divided into things that are going to start rolling out in September. Unfortunately, not now. Google always seems to just not hit it right in terms of when they roll out their features. They tend to always start rolling out sometime in August. To me, it's like most schools in the US start back in August. I mean, they start in September when most of their school districts start in August to September. So they come a little late to the party, but what they're bringing for Google Meet now looks like they definitely know they have competition with Zoom. So basically what's new overall, and we're going to look at some of these features a little more in depth, are some moderation features. And so those features are anything like that we use to moderate what's happening while I'm holding the Zoom. So it could be things like making sure that nobody can enter the Zoom before you enter the Google Meet before you get there. It can also have that where when you hit end, you can end the meeting for everyone and it kicks everybody out of the Google Meet. You can disable the chat, a lot of features like that to kind of have some more control over this kind of wild, wild west feeling that it used to have. They have some things launching in September, some things launching in October, and some things that they haven't really given us a date except to say later this year. So we'll start off with some things that will be here in September. I can't tell you a definitive date in September. All they're telling us is September. So once we know that they've rolled out, we send an email out letting everybody know. So first things first, moderation improvements, being able to block anonymous users, being able to disable the in-meeting chat. And I'm going to go on to the next page in a minute and really kind of detail this a little bit more for you. It gives you the ability of what Mike did when everybody's in there. If people start calling out, talking, you can mute everybody at once. It used to be you had to go through and mute individual students. Now you can hit mute all and mute everybody in your Google Meet. When you end the meeting, you'll be able to end the meeting, everybody gets kicked out of the Google Meet session, and that's an important piece of it. If somebody were to share out your session code, your link, actually, Mike, you want to just advance a minute to the next slide?
Surely.
Thank you. I'm just going to stay in order because this really details a little bit better. You can keep certain people in the call and eject everybody else. You can, I like this one, the block anonymous, because we talked a lot about that Zoom bombing thing that was happening last spring, and everybody got scared of Zoom because of that. So if a student were to share out the link or anything like that so other people to try to get in, is number one, you can kick anybody out. Number two, anybody that comes in with an anonymous username or something you don't recognize, they can't join. It automatically is not going to let them join. So unless we have already kind of whitelisted them, which we're not going to get into, you can block anonymous users from trying to join your Google Meet. And it allows you, I already mentioned the muting all participants. The next section is like knocking improvements, we call it. Knocking means you're trying to get into it. One of the things being, if you eject somebody from your Google Meet, okay, what happens is it can block them after being ejected. And after they've been, this is one thing they're talking about that's rolling out now, that you can block them after they've been dismissed from, after you've said to them, no, I don't want you to come in, and you haven't let them in. That's a dismissal. Like they're trying to get in and you're like, no, I don't want this person in. And they do it 2 times, they're completely blocked and they can't even try to get back in. So they get blocked completely if you kick them out, and they also get blocked if they just keep trying to get back into your classroom. So calling some knock improvements. They're going to talk to you, give you warnings for anonymous knocks. They're giving you an option to lock certain things down all at once, which was something that a lot of things you had to do individually. I love the next one, the chat lock. The chat's great and we're all using it. We use it regularly, but it's something that as a classroom teacher, if I'm trying to do something over Google Meet, I can't really moderate my chat. You know, while I'm teaching, I have to do one or the other. That's why Mike and I and all the tech team, we always team up together when we're teaching anything, because we need somebody else to moderate that chat for us. It's almost impossible to try to do both at the same time. So you may want to go in and turn off the chat. You can disable it so that the students during the session, during whatever you're presenting, the mini lesson, whatever, your pear deck, that they can't add to the chat. And then you can ask them for questions. It may be just something like, go back to the old way of, you know, okay, anybody have any questions? And then you can unmute everybody and they can start asking their questions. So chat lock, I love. The other thing is, we like to sometimes be able to give students the option to share their screen. And sometimes you don't want that to happen. If you by default leave it that anybody can present their screen, any kid could be in the middle of your thing and just pop up something inappropriate on the screen there for everybody to see. So you can, there's a presenter's lock that will be there. And we'll go over this a little bit more. We can't really show it now because it's not rolled out yet.
This is the only screenshot that was available that I found.
That we have.
That, like in this section right here, you can see it says allow participants to access, share their screen, send chat messages. And there's probably more, but that's what they showed on the main presentation.
Yeah, they haven't given us anything to really work with yet. So we're just kind of telling you what's coming up. They'll have a larger tiled view. You know, a lot of us got that extension that we were using to tile it up. You'll no longer need that extension because it will be built into the Google Meet. So we will talk to you about that. Once things happen, we'll show you how to disable that extension, which sometimes got a little glitchy, to be honest with you. I remember there was a point in the spring where they updated it and then that caused a whole glitch. So
Lauren, I only can see 9 people at a time for some reason. I used to be able to see more, but now for like the last few times I can only see 9 people.
Since they updated it. So yeah, it's not working well. So wait till this comes up with the Google Meet. I'm hoping early September more than anything else. So that will allow you to see 49 at a time, which we never have, fortunately, but it'll be a 7x7 grid. Yeah, like your Brady Bunch style reference. That's exactly right. So
if you're having issues, like Karina said, you might have to uninstall now, and you can at least get, I forget the max amount for it typically right now, but you can at least have that. But there are glitches if you're using the grid view currently.
Yeah, Samantha, these are all things for Google Meet. So you'll have all of this stuff. You guys will all have this. Everybody will have Google Meet option. Everyone can use Google Meet. If you're still comfortable with that, you want to keep using that, you can keep using it. We bought Zoom because some people were interested in using that for some of the functions. Like I said, had we known all this was going to happen, maybe we shouldn't have bought Zoom, but right now we did, and it is what it is. The other new feature, we had talked about this and we were testing it out last year, was the idea of collaborating. So this is going to now have a whiteboard feature built into it. So I'm hoping, again, like we're trying to figure out how this is even going to look, but it looks like something like a Jamboard, but it'll be built in to Google Meet. So when you go to share your screen in Zoom, one of your options is to share a whiteboard. So I'm assuming it's going to be something like that. You'll go into Google Meet, you'll be able to share screen, and instead of picking like sharing what you're working on, you'll also get like a whiteboard thing, which would be integrated, and also a collaborative whiteboard, like a Jamboard. That's what they said that they were using. Yep. So that'll be nice. That was a big feature that Zoom had over the rest of it, to be able to, you know, do a math lesson and not have to go out into something else in order to make it work. Okay. This is like a, you know, a user feature. It's not really anything that you would maybe even notice, except I'm using it right now in my house. It's called low light video mode. And basically, if I turn it off, you'll see how dark the room is that I'm in. So the low light video mode just kind of brightens up the space. So it allows you to see the kids in the video, that allows them to see you a little bit better. So it would kind of like be a game changer in terms of maybe you don't have to, you know, find that brightest room in the house in order to be seen pretty clearly. Because like I'm looking at myself on the screen, I'm like, wow, it looks pretty bright, but I know in real life it's not that bright over here. Mm-hmm. So those are like the September features that are due to be rolled out. Coming in October are some of the more fun things. They're going to have embedded in here, kind of like Zoom has right now, custom and blurred backgrounds, which is nice because, you know, sometimes you don't want to see what's going on in the back of your house. You know, if you're in a space where there's a lot of chaos going on, maybe you just didn't feel like making your bed. Maybe you just didn't clean up the breakfast dishes. I don't know, whatever it is. This will allow you within Google Meet to switch off and change up your background. Like I'm looking at Madeline. I'm zooming because you're in Zoom, you have that ability. My computer is a little older, my laptop. It's pretty old. And so I can't change my background in Zoom even right now. What you can do is this will allow anybody to change over their background. And that, like, they'll give you some patterns to choose from. It'll probably be that you can also upload a video, a picture, to set as your background. You know, one of the things that we talked about a lot with some of these Zoom calls and stuff like that was like equity. And, you know, when you have students who maybe are in a different, and we do have them in our district, even though sometimes we don't think we do, who come from a different background and a different socioeconomic background, you know, the ability to blur out maybe what's in the background of their home life, you know, could be important. Having said that, we don't want people to be, you know, dumb about it, these students. So we'll see how it goes, but we also, on the admin side of things, will be able to disable, I believe, an entire group. So if we want to say students don't have that ability, or students below 5th grade don't have that ability, or whatever it is, we can pinpoint who can have the ability to use the background and who can't. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And I'm more of a person, to be honest with you, and Mike, I think you agree, of like, let's try it, and like if people mess up, then they mess up and they get to take it away. You know, I just hate to like lock everything down all the time. All right, after custom and blurred backgrounds, what else do we have going on in there?
Sure, this one.
Oh, that's an important one. They will have attendance tracking. Again, still not sure how that's going to work. I'm assuming it's going to be a feature that you enable when you're setting up your Google Meet or when you start your Google Meet. But this is the best of what we were able to see in screenshots. They just haven't shared with us where all the controls will be. In Zoom, most of your controls show up along the bottom of your screen there, and you can go in and make some changes to the settings that way. So I'm assuming that will be the case. And again, we'll fill you in with those details. But attendance tracking is going to be really important because if we go fully remote at any given time, we do need to really take attendance at this point because we need to count these as school days. You know, I feel like moving forward, everything has changed. The shift of, oh, well, it's just temporary, it's just this, it's just that. We are going to be required to take attendance. So having this built in is going to be important. So once a student logs into your Google Meet, it will take their attendance and mark them. You know, you'll be able to see who attended each session. Breakout rooms. So there's been a lot of talk about that, and I'm pretty certain that There's been a lot of talk from TC, so anybody in K5 may have been hearing about this. Breakout rooms are available already in Zoom. We've used them in Zoom. For PD sessions, it's been great. For some of the meetings, it's been great. I mean, I know some of you were on some of these early reentry task force committees. It was nice to be able to control, okay, you guys go break out and talk about some things in this room. This will be available. It will be built in. For those of you who don't know what that means, it means so we could be in our Zoom meeting right now. We can turn on the breakout rooms and say, okay, everybody from 5th grade, we're going to put you in your own separate little room there to talk to one another. Here's a good zoom in of what it looks like. And then we're going to take everybody from 4th grade and put you guys in a room to talk. And then you come back in. So as the host, you can moderate how long they're in the room. And, you know, it's really a good tool for collaboration. Having said that, Mike, can I speak for you here? We have very genuine concerns about the breakout rooms. You know, my concern is always you're leaving kids unattended in that breakout room, right? So we found with Zoom, you can't record what goes on in those breakout rooms. So to say to the kids, okay, so go in there, you can't bounce around into all of those breakout room sessions to moderate that. You're one person. Best case scenario, there might be 2 of you in a room. So to say that you can moderate what's going on in there, I guess our concerns are just, you know, what happens when you put any group of kids together in a space on it, you know, without adult support? Whatever, most of the time, I'm sure it's fine. I'm just more concerned about that, you know, one time that it happens and somebody's bullying, somebody's this, and somebody's showing something inappropriate. Like who's, you know, it comes down to us then, like we're responsible for that. So just, we're saying that, we're showing you that it's there. You know, we've heard administrators talk about it, that they think it's a positive thing, but I just think before we go down that road, we should, you know, really be clear on what the guidelines are for that and what our responsibility is for that.
We also don't know what Google Meet looks like for this specifically.
Yeah.
Zoom, we know, but
yeah,
it could be very possible that you could see everyone in a small like bubble, but we don't know. But as of right now, you can pop individually in Zoom. You can pop individually into like each breakout room at random, and they will never know what's happening. But yeah, that's just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, and Karina, what you said was it could be used after a mini lesson. You want to pull a small group. Great idea for that. We're just saying there was discussion of putting groups of students into breakout rooms on their own, and then the teacher popping in and out of those. So as long as there's an adult in the breakout room, just like, I mean, I remember being at Stewart and you couldn't put a group of kids in the hallway to work anymore. It was like they need to be attended. And I was always one to like, oh, group A, go outside and work on your project. So, you know, there's just definite concerns about leaving students unattended in any way, shape, or form. All right, later this year, that's what they termed it. Again, don't know, it could be anywhere from end of October onward. We don't know what they mean, whether they mean calendar year or school year, but they're rolling out a question and answer. So they're taking the idea of polls. They have the polling feature in there, but they're developing it more. So it would allow them to actually, instead of just responding to the questions that you're polling them on, it would allow them to do a Q&A and like, I don't understand this. Could you go over that part again? The idea being encouraging more student participation that way. It would let them tell what they're having trouble with. It also has the upvoting feature of other students can like it, like, yeah, can you please go over that again, and things like that to kind of give you on the spot feedback. And that would be built into Google Meet. It wouldn't be anything like you have to bring a form in or anything like that.
Yeah. And what's cool is that other students in the class can upvote the most popular things, and you can sort them. It seems as though that you can sort them by most popular question. So if a lot of people have the same question, instead of them writing it, you can like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that for those kids who are uncomfortable asking the question, if somebody else has asked it and they upvote it, you know, that's a good thing. Hand raising. So this would, again, it's in Zoom. Don't we have that in Zoom?
Yep.
Or you can enable it? Yep. The hand raising feature just will allow them, if there is a question along while you're going along doing your lesson, students can click that and it'll show you that there's a hand up and somebody has a question. And that would be a good time for you to say, oh, okay, someone, just like in your regular classroom, someone so has a hand up, maybe you're going to say, can you hold it until I finish this thought? Can you, you know, if you've disabled the chat, this would really be a good way to kind of go back to the idea of being able to ask questions during the lesson. I think they're trying to kind of mimic whatever they can for a regular classroom environment. So they'll put their hand up, you'll get a notification that they're on your screen that somebody has their hand up, and you can address that, you know, unmute them or let them unmute and ask their question.
All right, so that was Google.
That was Google Meet. So it's
Those
up
are
to
all
Mike.
the updates. Any questions about that before I move on to Zoom? If you have any questions, you can unmute or put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now we talk about Zoom. And according to my poll, it seems that less people have been using that. Maybe you have on your own, but it seems less than Google Meet. So some of the new features, you have to make sure that you're updated. So you might have to go to like the Zoom app and check for updates. But some of the fun new features, I like talking about the fun ones first, is that you can touch up your appearance. So I can go in and change my appearance to be looking, you know, nice, and I'm doing
airbrushed.
my screen.
I did it earlier, so it kind of
blurs
airbrushes you a
out.
little bit.
Yeah. You can adjust for brightness, just like with Google. You can adjust for auto or manual. So I can change my brightness to be darker or lighter, or it can do it automatically. It also has better background noise suppression. So if you didn't hear my fire alarm out, or like a fire thing in the background just now, that's good, because it was going off and no one probably heard it. So that was great. And then just like in Google Meet, there is displaying up to 49 people in gallery view. You can do that right within the settings of Zoom. It's pretty cool. Oh, I just pressed that button now. I can see more people. That's very exciting. Video filters. This is a fun one. If you can see my screen, I'm going to put a video filter on myself. If you can see me, I can put, here, let me stop sharing for a second so you can see what it is. If you can see me, hello. I'm in the TV. I could be on stage. I can be, like it says, in a Zoom meeting, postcard. There's a lot of fun ones. They also have ones that track you, just like Snap Camera. My favorite one is this one. They have other ones too that are pretty cool. If you were at Stratford's faculty meeting, I was distracting myself with that. Yeah, so I'll leave that on. And you also have virtual backgrounds as well that you can put in. If you don't have a green screen, it doesn't matter. You can do this without a green screen. They've been improving the number of computers that can use virtual backgrounds, but it's not everyone, unfortunately. So that's
Not me, not yet.
Sorry.
Like some of the older computer laptops and computers like mine just don't have that functionality. You need to have a green screen in order for all that to work, but
yeah,
soon.
So yeah, you can see some of the filters that are on there right now, and they're pretty fun. Now, this is a brand new feature. I don't know how many people use PowerPoint or Keynote.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is pretty cool. Instead of sharing your screen, just like this person is here, you can see that it puts them in the background. So you can be presenting, and let me zoom in 1 second. You can see it has the number of slides, and you can switch through the PowerPoint. It has to be PowerPoint or Keynote. And you can switch through slide by slide and show off your screen in the background. Right now I have like a random work company in the background, but you could put your slideshow back there if you're using PowerPoint or Keynote. I don't know who is, but you can. And that's a new feature. Also, you may see at the bottom of your screen reactions. Should be at the bottom. If it's not for you, I might have to enable it in settings, but it allows you to give a thumbs up. I see a couple people got those thumbs up. Thank you. There are going to be new ones if you update. Once you update, you'll be able to give a clap, heart, crying emoji, shocked emoji, and party emoji. Yeah, Lauren has the update, so I can see that she just gave me the party emoji. Awesome. It's pretty cool. And it's just something for people quickly to check for understanding. You know, I could say, you need everyone good, give me a thumbs up. Cool, tell me how you're feeling. With that, I can see with a reaction. It's cool. All right, so this one is the most important, but also probably the more confusing one. It's the security improvements. I was in a Zoom presentation for some workshop that I was attending, and we got Zoom bombed during the meeting. And I wasn't running it, but I felt bad. There are a lot of settings that you can use to prevent Zoom bombing, or whatever you want to call it. But so here are some of them. You can mute participants upon entry. I don't do that because I just like to say hello before a meeting starts, but you can. So if you want, when this meeting starts, everyone can start muted. You can also force participants to not be able to unmute. So you could be talking the whole time and not have any ability to unmute. You can turn off the chat, or you can set it so that only they can chat to the host. So they can only chat to you as the teacher. They can't chat to someone else. You can turn off the ability to rename yourself if you wanted to. I like having the renaming ability. You can stop someone's video from being there, or you can ask someone to start displaying their video. With Zoom Pro, you can make another person a co-host, which gives them all these features, so you don't have to go crazy doing this while you're teaching. And there's many more features that you can explore. And as we get those accounts ready, we can probably have another PD about the specifics, because the settings are pretty difficult. And I might be missing things in the chat, Lauren, so.
I'm getting it.
Okay, thank you. Cool. I'm gonna move on. Another feature, there is a Zoom Scheduler Chrome extension. Basically what this does, I can add it into Chrome. And I will post this link for the actual presentation on the website, if that's okay with you, Lauren. And we'll also maybe post it in the Glide app. But what this will do is it will allow you to schedule your Zooms once you're signed in right from Google really fast. You can also add them within Google Calendar. So if you're scheduling something on Google Calendar, instead of making it a Google Meet, you can press make it a Zoom meeting, which is cool if you're wanting to use it. These features are available now with Zoom. It's allowing you to share your phone or iPad wirelessly without a cable or with a cable. But I always try to do it with a cable. And that allows you to show your screen or your iPad or the camera from your iPad very easily if you have one. And if you have an Apple Pencil, that's even better. You can annotate a lot better with that. Zoom polls. The polls are what we started out with at the beginning. I can see who did the polls, who submitted, and I can share the results with everyone. I can see how everyone did with these polls. It can be made in advance, which is what I did. I made sure that the poll was done beforehand. You can do it during the meeting if something sparks your interest. But yeah, it's a nice way to get feedback in real time. There's a whiteboard feature. So when I go to new share, I can press share and then press whiteboard, and it allows people to draw on the screen. So I am going to do that now. I'm going to just share a whiteboard, and you can see, here's my whiteboard. And then you can also enable attendees to draw as well. And I'm going to do that right now. Let's see if this works. Can anyone draw on my whiteboard? I don't know. see what happens. There should, yeah, I see Melissa did it. You might see that under,
Oh, now I can.
now you can. Sorry, I had to press resume. There you go. I can see you all drawing at once. If you're on a Chromebook, it shouldn't show up, unfortunately. I don't think, but it is a cool feature. They might be improving that.
No, I'm not getting the pens or anything.
They're not up top for you?
Nope.
Aw.
Yeah.
Either.
I wonder if it's
Can't do it
under,
on my laptop either. It's not working on the Dell.
interesting. Thanks, guys. I'm also gonna
Yeah,
stop that from happening.
I can't do it from my laptop either. Well, we also still have the poll screen in the way too. Is that an issue or no?
Oh, let me turn that off.
I was able to exit out.
I'm not really sure. I have that as, I just stopped the share, so no one can do it now.
Mhm.
It's one of those features that is just fun if you can get it to work, but I don't know if it's necessary, because I don't know how many people want to draw all at once. You can also just use Jamboard like you would in Google Meet. Same with the annotations. I stopped you guys from doing annotations within Zoom. So those are all settings you can do in here. And I can clear everyone's drawings. I can also save everyone's drawings as a different PDF. And then last but not least is the breakout rooms. We just discussed this earlier. It gives people a chance to turn and talk, but I can join into each breakout room, but I can't join into all of them at once. I can check in individually. Cool. So yeah, as some people were saying in the chat, some things will work on certain devices.
Yeah.
I'll put this link in the chat. It has a nice little, hold on. It has a nice little chart, but with the Chromebook, they can use breakout rooms. Some can't use polling yet. You can share your screen. Yes. You can't do the virtual backgrounds yet. Can't do the whiteboard. You can't annotate. A lot of negatives, but it should work on Mac and PC, most of these things.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm on a MacBook, Madeline. Right now, the only thing I wasn't able to do was do the pens. I don't know why. It could just be something with my update to Zoom also.
I couldn't do it on my book either.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It might be, we'll have to test that out. It might be an annotate button.
And you know, sometimes like with the link for the details and updates, that tiny URL he has there is great because you know, they're rolling things out constantly. I mean, the reality is all of these companies have created things just for laptops, for mostly for operating systems, true operating systems. And now they're realizing that the whole education market bought Chromebooks because they were cheaper. So they're starting to roll out things at a pretty rapid pace. So a lot of those things could change between even now and September. So using that link will help you to kind of keep updated with that, and we'll update you once we see things change also. What else we have here?
So
Okay, yeah, do you want to show breakout rooms and then we're gonna
sure.
connect up?
The tricky thing about sharing your Zoom settings on Zoom is that they automatically cancel out because they don't want like to show that. So give me a couple seconds. I have to set up a different workaround to show you my Zoom screen.
And in the meantime, while you're doing that, Joanne had a question about, are we going to have to connect our Chromebook to our smartboard in the classroom? So I believe, and I'm we were discussing this in a group, like with the tech team had a little meeting before we were discussing a lot of these questions that people have. And I'm going to try to get you guys some answers this afternoon. The idea had been for the laptops, the new laptops, to be your new computer, right? So that there were fewer people handling, like, especially I'm thinking high school, middle school, where you guys change rooms and there were multiple people in a classroom. It would be less, you know, direct touch for, you know, people who were switching classrooms. So you would just bring your new laptop, because that we did buy them. It's a whole thing. Apparently there's a huge backlog of issues with the Chromebooks that are coming in, issues with the laptops that are coming in. The laptops will be here, but not to start school. So originally we were talking about taking out some of the desktop computers that were in classrooms. I think that's changed now that we are not going to get the laptops for day one. So you'll be, I think, unless something's changed, you'll be working from a desktop computer, a laptop if you're in one of the new mobile rooms that have been popping up, and such as a cafeteria or a gym or library or some other space that's being converted into classroom use. I'm looking at more like the K-5 people. So I think, again, otherwise, if you're in your normal classroom environment, I think it will be kind of status quo right now to get started. To get a new Chromebook, you're not, all right, the link changed, okay. And as far as anything with new devices, we have 0 devices right now. We have nothing. Where everything is being redeployed, everything has to be redone. So there won't be, hopefully you took home your Chromebook previously. I don't know what the status is of if you needed something to start the year at this point. If you turned it in over the summer, then we can figure something out. But right now, everything's being updated, upgraded. The laptops will be what teachers are getting. It won't be Chromebooks. They will be actual laptop computers. They will be installed with any software that would normally be on the desktop in your classroom. So that's what you'll be using to go kind of, you know, room to room or wherever you're going to be. If you're in a large space, will you be getting a rolling smartboard? I believe, Karina, I know they ordered a bunch of them, and I've seen them coming in. Like I've seen the information coming through my email. So they've been being delivered. They were rolling smartboards. I believe they were all-in-ones, so that they had the projector part mounted to it. So I believe that all the large spaces will have something to get. They have to. So that's also on my thing. We were talking about this before, that there's so many unknowns, and then on top of it, not to know, you know, what kind of devices and stuff. You will all have some technology. I just can't tell you exactly what that is yet. So we were thinking that what I'll do is, once I get all of this information for you, we're going to put together kind of a, you know, a little booklet of what to expect. So what you'll be walking into and things like that. So looking at a lot of questions. Yeah, you're not getting laptops until late September. So so Joanne, so to answer a lot of you, I don't know when any of these questions that are popping up right now, I have no answers for you. I will have answers for you after I speak with Rita, after I get off this call. That's what I'm doing, to try to answer same thing. So I don't know about co-teachers. I don't know if both are getting a laptop. High school students, I am hoping that they're deploying what they've got in district right now for that. But I also know that the Chromebooks will not be here before October, November.
While those questions are coming
if you
in,
have a current Chromebook
sorry.
in your possession, just hold on to it. Yes, you can hold on to them for now. They may collect them when the laptops come. I'm not sure. Are they going to be wireless? Who's going to have access to the classroom? I think I'll be printing out the chat when we're done, just so I can ask these same questions to get answers for you.
I'm going to save the chat.
Yeah, we'll save the chat. I'm going to have access to the classroom Chromebooks on day one. Yeah, I don't know, March. I don't know if that's, we've ordered microphones. I'm trying to just go back 1 second to answer some of these. We've ordered microphones. They were actually really good. Mike and I did a test run in the classroom. It's more of like a video conferencing mic. It sits on the table there, but it picked up pretty well. I don't know about the students have what their access will be from day one. Kids will take home their devices every day. Yes, there'll be, once the students get their devices, they will have chargers to charge them at home. Yeah, no more sharing of anything. Yeah, go ahead, Mike. And then I have a couple people who asked me other
Cool.
questions. I'll
Sorry.
just start addressing.
I think this is working. Can you guys see my Zoom settings screen? At least this part that I'm moving. If I click on more, it will show up for everyone in breakout rooms. It'll say it probably next to the share button. But if I click on breakout rooms, it allows you to assign the participants automatically into rooms in any amount. Let's say if I wanted to make everyone into 11 rooms or 12 rooms or whatever I wanted, I could do that automatically and press create. And you can see it makes those rooms for you. Let me zoom out just a little bit. And you can move them to different sections. I can move them to different rooms. I can assign them different places. I can rename them and I can pop into them. There's also features such as moving all the participants into breakout rooms automatically. I could do that. I can make them close after a certain amount of time, or I can close them manually. If anyone's part of the Positive Change Book Club committee, or just the book club, we do this all the time with breakout rooms, and this is how I do that. I can make it assigned automatically.
Mike, if we wanted to, let's say we do a lesson with our whole class, but then after the lesson's over, we want to just pull 5 kids into a breakout room without, like, and leave the others doing something else. Can we just do that without putting everybody in breakout rooms?
You can assign certain people in the breakout room, and then everyone else can stay in the main room. Yeah, but you'd have to have I would assume you'd have to have someone else in the main room while you're popping into the breakout room. But that's just up to how you manage your class.
And Mike, one of the questions was, and I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, you can set the breakout rooms up ahead of time when you're setting up the Zoom, can't you? On the settings page? Or we haven't had that work well?
We haven't had that work well because they'd have to register for the Zoom.
So they have to, that was one of our issues with the attendance. We were we were testing that out earlier as well, of like, can you take attendance in Zoom? And you can, but the students had to not just log into the Zoom, they had to log in, they had to have like a Zoom account in order for that to work. So we're not really sure if that's gonna be a possibility.
Yeah.
So Robin, it would be the same thing with the breakout rooms ahead of time, is I think they had to be set up within Zoom. And I'm not sure if that's how they're handling this or not. That's the thing.
Yeah. And it really, it seems like it would take a long time, especially, well, we have 89 to 90 people in this room, but I do it in certain meetings and it takes a couple seconds. I just click really quickly and I'm like, I want this person, this person, this person. And it works out really nicely. So if there's any other settings, this is all what I have as a Zoom Pro account. I have the ability to poll. You can see I have the ability to look at the participants in this group. I can show you security settings, which means I can lock the meeting, meaning no one can come in. So if you are getting Zoom bombed or something, I can lock the meeting so no one can come in afterwards. I can allow participants to chat, screen share, etc. And I have all these features here as well. I can even remote control someone else's computer with permission. You can create the poll before the meeting, yes. When you do a poll, you can go right here and it will make, you can definitely plan it. Because I already did this one, I have to make a new one. But yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. Cool. Any other questions I missed, Lauren? You're muted, by the way.
Yes, sorry. I think we got to just about everything. We couldn't answer a bunch of them. There's a lot
Okay.
of them that we're gonna just print out, and when we get on the call with Rita, I'll have get some answers for everybody, because I know it's mostly like technology, what technology is available, what people will have when they walk into their classrooms. So
Yeah.
we'll ask
I wish
We'll
we
ask
knew all
those-
the answers.
those
but
tough
we'll try to get as
questions
many
for
as
you.
done.